GM has a serious EV problem. Barra has essentially given up on most of her electric goals and stopped producing EVs. Within the industry, GM's abrupt decision to stop producing electric vehicles is causing a stir. The cause? Interestingly, no one is purchasing them. Dealer lots are overflowing with over 92,000 EVs, yet there are no buyers. So awful is the situation that GM is even losing a ton of money on EV sales. After defeating EVs, CEO Barra said that GM would now stop producing EVs and concentrate on what the average person enjoys: automobiles with combustion engines at a low cost. Why did Barra abruptly stop producing EVs? Are they giving up entirely on electric vehicles? Furthermore, why is Ford ceasing to produce EVs as well? Join me as I explore the tale of what could be the largest auto industry tragedy to history. General Motors said in a startling way that they would be delaying the manufacture of all-electric Silverado vehicles at the Orion assembly plant in Michigan until 2025, instead of the initial timetable. Concerns about the EV boom are raised by this startling change that coincides with a notable decrease in EV sales. EV sales aren't what everyone anticipated, and middle-class buyers' requirements aren't being met by these exorbitant cars. In the first half of this year alone, the US EV sales growth rate fell by more than 20, despite the government's generous incentives to encourage electric cars. Dealerships now have mountains of unsold inventory, instead of the electric automobiles that used to fly off the shelf. According to Cox Automotive, there are already over 92,000 EVs on the road, a startling 342 increase from the 21,000 that were there the previous year. General Motors today announced its decision to reschedule the conversion of its Orion assembly plant to electric vehicle truck manufacturing until late 2025, the company noted in an official statement. This is to better coordinate with the changing demand for EVs while managing capital investments more effectively. The need for profitability and the declining demand for EVs are not exclusive to GM. To increase profits, other big automakers, including Ford and Tesla, are adjusting their EV strategy. For example, Tesla has dropped thousands off the price of various models in response to concerns that it will reduce customer spending. Not to be outdone, Ford started slashing prices as well, facing an estimated $4.05 billion losses on its electric vehicles this year. In other words, for every EV sold, Ford loses a staggering $32,000. And as of July, their Model E business was already losing almost $1.8 billion. Hold on as I tell you about the $103 million fine that General Motors was forced to pay for producing cars with poor quality problems. The CEO of Ford, GM Farley, said that customers' willingness to pay has declined. John Lawler, Ford's Motor CFO, had a similar opinion when he said, "The curve isn't increasing as expected. Transition to electric vehicles is underway, albeit it may take longer than anticipated." The average selling price of a new electric vehicle fell by about 20 during the course of the summer, with purchasing incentives rising to roughly $4,000. The CEO, Barra, seems to be leading the company through a difficult period. The fundamental cause of this mess is Barra's ostensibly narrow vision for Chevrolet. Her unwavering attention on expensive EVs seems to be driven more by a desire for personal wealth than by development. GM has failed to even pay its employees a decent wage, much alone price their automobiles fairly, despite the fact that she had a salary of over millions of dollars. The claims that GM was selling defective trucks and SUVs caused things to take a very bad turn. This is not a little mistake that can be forgiven. A startling $103 million in penalties was also imposed on GM as a result of the declining quality. Their losses are now expected to total around $1 billion by 2023. GM was one of the first few established automakers to switch to electric vehicles. Additionally, GM has said that it would no longer pursue the previously declared objective of manufacturing 400,000 electric vehicles between 2022 and mid-2024. Only a few months had passed since GM CEO Barra confirmed the goal in July when this startling news occurred. But this decision was mostly influenced by the ongoing United Auto Workers strikes, which have already cost the carmaker an incredible $800 million. GM's initial predictions have to be revised due to the strike's extra $200 million weekly costs to the corporation. GM's new course does not mean that its electrified vision is completely abandoned. Paul Jacobson, CFO, emphasized that the company's goal is still to produce 1 million electric vehicles by the end of 2025. Barra outlined the company's plan in her Q3 letter to shareholders. The difficulties go beyond GM's changes to its approach. Barra reports that a number of highly anticipated electric vehicle models, such as the GMC Sierra EV, Chevy Equinox EV, and Chevy Silverado EV Rust, may see delays, although only temporary ones. Additionally, GM decided to modify and reintroduce the Chevy Bolt EV with more affordable lithium-ion batteries in order to maximize its financial position. Due to this strategic change, an ambitious $5 billion expenditure plan for many new entry-level EVs must be shelved. Concerningly, GM's Q3 financial figures showed that its net income for the third quarter had decreased by 7.3 to $3.1 billion. The $3.06 billion in adjusted profits included the negative impact of the mid-September strikes, which saw a 17% reduction. The current manufacturing issues that GM has been having with its Silverado EVs are another piece of the jigsaw. As the Detroit plant is also known as Factory Zero, GM was only able to deliver 18 Silverado EVs in the third quarter. This went against Orion Assembly's intentions to increase output by 2024, the facility where the Bolt EV was made. It's interesting to note that neither supply constraints nor the UR strike was the cause of this delay until late 2025. Rather, GM pointed to the need for urgent technical advancements and changing EV requirements as the main causes. GM has revealed a large investment in its internal combustion engine oil cores, particularly in its heavy-duty trucks, and despite the global trend towards electric vehicles. This choice provides a thorough examination of GM's complex plan, which seems to satisfy market expectations, finance the company's transition to electric vehicles, and placate its employees. This is precisely what they're doing. In order to upgrade 2 facilities in Flint, Michigan, GM intends to spend more than $1 billion in the production of new heavy-duty ICE pickup trucks. It is anticipated that the large investment would strengthen GM's dominant position in the full-size truck market. Despite GM's commitment to transition to an all-electric fleet by 2035, the business recognizes the value of its internal combustion engine cars. In 2022, sales of the heavy-duty truck increased by 38 to around 288,000 units. GM will convert to electric cars EV using the money from these ICE automobiles. According to suppliers and analysts, GM may be able to keep producing the SUVs and pickup trucks that are its most lucrative models for the next 10 to 12 years. The company's resources for its anticipated full transition to electric vehicles by 2035 would be strengthened by this prolonged timescale, which might result in extra profits in the tens of billions. One cannot overstate how profitable GM's internal combustion engine cars are. According to benchmark auto analyst Michael Ward, GM made an average of $10,678 per car last year before interest and taxes on its trucks and SUVs. According to these projections, GM's full-size combustion trucks and SUVs may bring in up to $7.5 billion in pre-tax profit per year. Remarkably, the Arlington facility, which manufactures GM's full-size combustion SUVs, is regarded as the world's most lucrative car factory. The company's strategy was emphasized by GM CFO Paul Jacobson, who noted that in addition to deliberately switching to electric vehicles, they're also making use of their significant internal combustion engine portfolio. The company's new EVs can't match the profitability of cars like the Cadillac, Escalade, and Chevy Silverado, at least not yet. The main issue is that despite their enormous potential, EVs may not have been properly timed, or at the very least, assessed in terms of market readiness. What is now visible through this electric mist is a disorganized approach, missed chances, and a damaged reputation for the brand. Additionally, the fallout from GM's mistakes may cause the company's image to suffer long-term harm in a world where perceptions and narratives are more important than ever. Rivals will probably take advantage of this and portray GM as a massive company that got lost in the process. We may soon see Mary Barra guiding GM to its total demise if the company keeps misinterpreting the market. So pay attention, Mary Barra and all the other CEOs who flaunt their wealth. Middle class has reached its limit. Before the whole pie crumbles, it's time to split it. Let me tell you something. If GM believes they are having issues right now, wait when their staff is gone and their devoted consumers start to turn against them. That is more than simply an issue. That is a major catastrophe. It's also one that has the potential to destroy the whole business. Which side do you support in this conflict between the big automakers and the middle class? Tell me in the comments section below. I've published a video with significant information that might harm the EV market as a whole. And if you want to be genuinely surprised by what's going to happen with EVs, you should check it out.